Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video, we are going to take a look at painting red hair. And so here to serve as our example is a little mage from the Relicblade game system from the Wilderkin faction. And she has this nice long hair that we can paint and we can illustrate our point with. Squig Orange from Citadel is going to be our first little layer. We're going to layer this layer paint on. I use this color as the base for this red hair, as it is a really nice reddish orange. It pushes a little closer to red, but otherwise it's orange. And typically red hair really does have a very orange kind of quality to it. You get some that are really deep red, and you get some that closer to like a blonde almost. And once we have that fully base coated on, I did 2 thin layers onto that. I'm going to use some Seraphim Sepia. This is just to build up the shadows and just deepen up the tone. And also because this is a nice brown yellow quality to it, it's kind of, it's got a hint of orange to it. It's like a very light brown. If you've ever seen sepia all on its own on a white surface, it has like, this very orangey brown kind of quality to it. And it's a really nice way to simply just shade the area. And you can pretty much leave it as that, and it looks pretty darn good. We're going to come in with some Jacaro Orange, and we're going to use this to highlight. Now this is a Citadel base color, but you can just as easily highlight with these colors as well. So just because don't fall into the trap of the naming scheme that the paints often have, you can simply just use the colors as you wish. And here I'm just being very deliberate as I lay the highlights down. Now typically when I am highlighting hair, I will often go for like these big bends in the hair, like that's following basically the back of her shoulder. I will put highlights there, and I will also highlight the ends of the hair. So like on her ponytail here, I'm building the color up towards the ends. On the top of the head, I'm building the color actually kind of towards the face, but leaving a little bit of darker color just to kind of frame the face. I'm going to take some Screaming Skull, add it into this Jacaro Orange. It's probably closer to a 1-to-1, but it actually might be more 2-to-1, 2 Screaming Skull to 1 Jacaro Orange. But either way, this is just a really quick way. And of course, these mixtures that I do lay down, of course, you can adjust them however you want and just basically create your own ratios as far as how far you want to push it and how far you want to layer in these blends. Of course, this is simply just layering these highlights on as opposed to glazing them on or even dry brushing them on, which is another way we can also do hair. Actually, dry brushing is a very effective way of catching these textures and such. And so you can see I'm simply just building up the highlights, being very deliberate just to build the color up towards the ends of the hairs, and the highlights are very minimal. And again, you can pretty much leave it there, and if you're happy with how it looks, that's kind of like a dirty blonde, not dirty blonde, like a very blondie red kind of hairdo. I can't remember what the heck it's called. Fugen Orange is next. And this is just to simply resaturate all of those tones, bring them all together. We could also use the orange contrast paint for this, but I figured let's just use our shade wash, and we can just simply use this to great effect. We can build the tone up deeper into the recesses, and we can also lightly layer this over the highlights and such and bring it all back down, bringing us back into a nice orange quality. So that's pretty much what I do. And of course, we could thin this down if you wanted to build it up slowly, or you can lay it on generously as we have shown here. And really quickly, you can see how once it's all dry, we have a fairly effective red hair. And of course, this kind of pushes towards the blonde. So if you weren't too happy with that, you could always layer in more of the Fugen Orange and bring that orange, that red hair quality back. Again, it's entirely up to you how you go about doing this. So hopefully you guys found this one informative. Big thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, these videos would not be possible. If you're considering Patreon support, click the link in the description below, and it'll take you off to a magical site called Patreon, where you can support at varying tiers. Take care of those brushes, and they will take care of you.